Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our fifth night of the Gita week. So we have only tonight and tomorrow we'll conclude. So tonight we will be covering chapters 13, 14 and 15 of the Bhagavad Gita. So Kanaya Prabhu will recite those verses and please follow along on the TV screen. It's nice to chant along with him. And then after the recital we have Krsangi Radhe. She will be giving the class on the Bhagavad Gita. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki.
Jai. Hare Krishna everybody. Happy Gita week. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Krishna Arjuna ki jai. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everybody all together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Shri Krishna Arjuna ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Arjuna uvacha prakritim purusham cheva kshetram kshetragyam cha etad veditam ichchami jnanam geham cha keshava. Shri Bhagavan uvacha idam sariram kaunteya kshetram ityabhidhiyate etadyo veti tam prahu kshetragya iti tadvidaha. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetragyayor jnanam itajjnanam matam mama avibhaktam cha bhuteshu Vibhaktam iva cha sthitam bhuta bhratri cha tajgeham grashishnu prabhavishnu cha prakritim purusham cheva vidhanadi ubhavapi vikaramscha gunamscheva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. Purusha prakriti stohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam gunasangosya sad asad yoni janmasu upadrastanumantascha bharta bhokta maheshvara paramatmeti chapyukto Dehesmin Purusha Paraha Dhyane Gnatmani Pashyanti Kechid Atmanam Anye Sankhena Yogena Karma Yogena Chapare Samam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram Vinashtyat Vinashyantam Yapashyati na pashyati anaditva nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayah शरीरास्तोऽपि कौन्तेय न करोति न लेप्यते यथा सर्वागतं सौक्ष्म्यं याद् आकाशं नोपलिप्यते सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे तथात्मानोपलिप्यते यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः कृत्स्नं लोकम् इमं रविः क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं प्रकाशयति भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्राज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा भूता प्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परं श्रीभगवानुवाच परं भूयः प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानां ज्ञानमुत्तमं यज्ज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्वे परां सिद्धिम् इतो गताः इदं ज्ञानम् उपाश्रित्य मम साधर्म्यमागताः सर्गेऽपि नोपजायन्ते प्रलये न व्यतन्ति च मम योनिर्महद्ब्रह्मा तस्मिन् गर्भं ददाम्यहम् सम्भवः सर्वभूतानां ततो भवति भारत सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्मा महद्योनिरहं बीजप्रदापिता सत्वं राजस्तमा इति गुणाः प्रकृतिसम्भवाः निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो देहे देहिरमव्ययम् तत्र सत्वं निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकम् अनामयं सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसङ्गेन चानगा राजोरागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णासङ्गासमुद्भवं तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनं तमस्त्वन्नज्ञेयं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिस्तन्निबध्नाति भारत सत्वं सुखे संजयाति रजः कर्माणि भारत ज्ञानम् आवृत्य तु तमः प्रमादे संजयात्युता रजस्तमश्च विभूय सत्वं भवति भारत रजः सत्वं तमश्चैव तमः सत्वं रजस्तथा सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा वेद्याद् विवृद्धं सत्वमित्युता नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति मां च यो व्याभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते स गुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्मभूया कल्पते ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्य व्ययायस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखशीकान्तिकस्य च श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलम् अधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवेत् न रूपमस्येह ततोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरुधामूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पराणि निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसंज्ञैर्गच्छन्त्यमुदा पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भाषयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममेवांसो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातनः मनः शस्तानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् यदादित्यागतं तेजो जगद्भाषयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रामसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधिः सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणपानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मतः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदेश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहं द्याविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कुतस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदारितः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्त्यव्यय ईश्वरः यस्माक्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवासम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदं मुक्तं मया नघ एतद्बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृताकृत्यश्च भारत यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Everybody all together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. बोलो श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Kanaya Prabhu, for reciting the Bhagavad Gita verses for us. So we will now have Krsangi Radhe Devi Dasi going through those verses with us of the Bhagavad Gita. And then after our discussion on Bhagavad Gita, we will have Gora Arti. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for that beautiful rendition of the Bhagavad Gita. And before we get into the next 3 chapters for today, I cannot believe that we are already so far into the week. We spoke earlier this week and already time has just gone by so quickly. Thank you for being here with us at the Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Temple this Thursday evening. It's a very auspicious time of year and therefore everybody's excited for the festival that we are building up to, which takes place on Saturday. So we will sing the Jai Radha Madhava prayers before we begin our talk this evening. Please join in. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radha Nata, Radha, Radha, Radhe, Jai. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaur Hari Bol. Their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai. Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So once again, we'd like to welcome you to this evening's Gita Week discourse and welcome you once again to the Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Temple. Thank you for being here on this Thursday evening, and again I'd like to reiterate that the week has gone by so quickly, and I hope that we are able to delve into this good energy, this time where Lord Krishna, actually we discuss the Bhagavad Gita in an overview format, because time doesn't suffice to go in depth, but rather give a synopsis of 3 verses per day. So before we read from the Bhagavad Gita, we chant some prayers, and I invite you to join me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this evening we're speaking from chapters 13, 14 and 15. And the title of this chapter, chapter 13, is Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. Translation and purport of text 1 and 2 by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and of the knowledge and the object of knowledge." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna was inquisitive about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, Kshetra, the field, and Kshetrana, its knower, the knowledge and the object of knowledge. When he inquired about all these, Krishna said that this body is called the field, and that one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. This body is the field of activity for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul is entrapped in material existence, and he attempts to lord it over material nature. And so, according to his capacity to dominate material nature, he gets a field of activity. That field of activity is the body. And what is the body? The body is made of senses. The conditioned soul wants to enjoy sense gratification, and according to his capacity to enjoy sense gratification, he is offered a body or a field of activity. Therefore, the body is called Kshetra, or the field of activity for the conditioned soul. Now, the person who should not identify himself with the body is called Kshetrana, the knower of the field. It is not very difficult to understand the difference between the field and its knower, the body and the knower of the body. Any person can consider that from childhood to old age, he undergoes so many changes of body, and yet is still one person remaining. Thus, there is a difference between the knower of the field of activities and actually the field of activities. Their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. A living conditioned soul can thus understand that he is different from the body. It is described in the beginning, the Henosman, that the living entity is within the body, and that the body is changing from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age. And the person who owns the body knows the body is changing. The owner is distinctly Kshetrana. Sometimes we think, I am happy, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a dog, I am a cat. These are all bodily distinctions of the knower. But the knower is different from the body. Although we may use many articles, our clothes, etc., we know that we are different from the things used. Similarly, we also understand by little contemplation that we are different from the body. I or you or anyone else who owns the body is called Kshetrana, the knower of the field of activities, and the body is called Kshetra, the field of activities itself. In the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, the knower of the body, the living entity, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord are described. In the middle 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the relationship between the individual soul and the super soul in regard to devotional service are described. The superior position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the subordinate position of the individual soul are definitely defined in these chapters. The living entities are subordinate under all circumstances, but in their forgetfulness, they are suffering. When enlightened by pious activities, they approach the Supreme Lord in different capacities. As the distressed approach the Supreme Lord, those who are in want of money, the inquisitive, and those in search of knowledge. That is also described. Now, starting with the 13th chapter, how the living entity comes into contact with material nature and how he is delivered by the Supreme Lord through the different methods of fruitive activities, cultivation of knowledge, and the discharge of devotional service are explained. Although the living entity is completely different from the material body, he somehow becomes related. This is also explained. So that is the translation and the purport that summarizes very nicely chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. We'll just recite some prayers before we discuss. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manoblistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyaham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Larita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutidevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we delve into chapter 13, and again I explain that nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. So here Krishna is explaining, and it's very interesting because the way it's positioned is that Arjuna is asking a question, and immediately Krishna is responding. He's giving an answer. So Arjuna is asking, and the answer comes quite instantaneously from Krishna. And it is described here that Kshetra is the body and Kshetrana is the knower of the body. So ultimately this body, as described in this purport, goes from boyhood to youth to old age. And we know that as the embodied soul continuously passes from one body to another, the wise is not bewildered by such a change at the moment of death. So Krishna is explaining that we have taken different sorts of bodies over lifetimes, but the soul knows the body, and the super soul is the ultimate. The super soul knows everything. This soul, the gross material body that has senses, right? We have different senses, and this senses makes us human. So the soul goes from one body to another at the time of death. The super soul, the Param Atma, never dies. Now, very interesting, Krishna also explains as we go on here to say that forgetfulness is so easy. He explains that at the moment of death, we forget what we've done in this lifetime. But the Paramatma, the Jiva, the ultimate Kshetrana, the knower of this body, never forgets. Therefore, the next life and the next birth is determined by the Paramatma from within the body. So ultimately, even if we think back, what to speak about death and going into another realm and taking another body, if we think back at our early childhood, can we remember the details? No. Right? So upon death, it's almost impossible to remember what this lifetime was. So who knows how many births we've taken thus far to come here, in a male body, in a female body. And Krishna explains, we go on to the next chapter where it is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead how the different modes of material nature are there. It is there. It's passion, ignorance, and ultimately the mode of goodness. And here, it is so aptly unpacked for us where we talk about the different understandings. Krishna as the super soul, the knower of everything. The real knowledge is to know the super soul. That is the real knowledge, to understand. And in the chapters beforehand, Krishna explains to us that the only way to understand him and attain liberation at the moment of death is through loving devotional service. So when we spoke earlier this week, we spoke about conviction, we spoke about faith and devotional service. Those three very powerful words that came through in chapter 4, 5, and 6. Right? Where Krishna explained that having faith in the knowledge of the Vedas, taking to devotional service, and being very focused on this path of devotion actually eradicates so much of the hankering for material enjoyment. And as we progress through the Gita, it is explained to us that this material world is the essence of suffering. Why? Because we've forgotten our eternal abode. We've forgotten our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we want to enjoy without the ultimate enjoyer. So therefore again, it's likened here where we say the body, Kshetra, and the Kshetrana, the knower of the body, the ultimate knower. So it's like a car and a driver. So you have the car, the vehicle, but if you don't have a driver, the car is useless, right? So you can have the car parked out there, and if you don't have your driver's license, you can stand and look at the car, but nothing happens, the car doesn't move. So the material body is like the car, but the driver of the car is the super soul, the Paramatma, seated within our heart. So again, we want to detach now. In the material world, we want to detach from the driver of the car. We want to do our own thing. We want to get into sense enjoyment. We want to be able to just enjoy in this material space. And what happens the more we move away from the ultimate driver, who's the Paramatma, the super soul, we become miserable in this world. And if we ask ourselves that very, very deep and significant question, how happy are we in this material world? A scale of 1 to 10. Some days you're going to say, I'm very happy. Some days you're going to say, oh gosh, I had such a bad day. Am I right? Because it fluctuates. There is no consistency in terms of happiness. And then we go into how do we rate happiness? What's happy for you is not happy for me. So there's no real benchmark here, because the material world is such that this is not our abode. This is not where we were meant to be. Lord Krishna further states, and in further states here, or the purport actually shares with us, that because the Supersoul is the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says, I am also the knower, but I am not the individual knower of the body. I am the super knower. I am present in every body as the Paramatma or Super Soul. So Krishna then explains that this body is called Kshetra, and within it dwells the owner of the body and the Supreme Lord, who knows both the body and the owner of the body, because Krishna says that he knows everything. And that's basically here where we look at chapter 13. Krishna goes on, and text 13, the translation here says, I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit, beginlessness, and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material nature. The knower of the body is never born and never dies, and he is full of knowledge. So that is the Super Soul. The knower of the body never dies, he's never born, and he is full of knowledge. And he's seated deep within our hearts, every single one of us. The living entities are eternally in the service of the Supreme Lord. It is also confirmed by Lord Chaitanya in his teachings. So Krishna explains that we will never be happy in this particular material world, because he is the knower and he knows everything. We are trying to enjoy without actually the knower, the ultimate enjoyer, and the driver of that car. As the sun exists, and this is a beautiful analogy that's presented in text 14, as the sun exists diffusing its ultimate rays, so does the Super Soul, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what Srila Prabhupada is also trying to describe for us here is that you see the sun. You see the sun, the ultimate sun in the sky, but you see that the sun illuminates throughout the land. So during the day, it's a bright day. You're not going to look, where's the sun? Right? Maybe in the morning you see the sunrise. You are able to see it. And at dusk you see the sun set. But during the day, it's illuminated, it's bright. That's Krishna, the source of the energy, the sun, the Paramatma in every single living entity. You don't have to look where he is. He's everywhere, in all of us. So he is the knower, and the jiva with each one of us, but he's the Paramatma. He knows every single one of us. And that's what chapter 13 is, the overview is ultimately that he is the knower and he is the ultimate controller. And now we move on to chapter 14. Chapter 14 is titled The Three Modes of Material Nature. Text 1, translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again, I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all sages have attained the supreme perfection. Purport, and I'm just reading a little bit. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from material entanglement. It is also explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature that the living entity is entangled in this material world. Now, in this chapter, the Supreme Personality explains that those modes of nature are how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. How they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord as superior to the knowledge given in any other chapter. So this is a very important chapter. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attained perfection and transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord now explains the same knowledge in a better way. This knowledge is far, far superior to all other processes of knowledge thus far explained. And knowing this, many attain perfection. Thus it is expected that one who understands the 14th chapter will attain perfection. Very, very powerful chapter. And Lord Krishna then goes on to say, in text 5, material nature consists of 3 modes. The mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Right? When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So here, Lord Krishna says clearly, the mode of ignorance, the mode of passion, the mode of goodness. Now, how do we describe the mode of passion? When we come to the material world, as we said, Krishna describes that the living entity wants to enjoy. Whether it's relationships, right? Whether it's between male and female. And what happens there is that when you want to have a family, it's just progression of life. When you have a family, you want to provide for the family. You want to have luxury, right? You want to be comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what happens is that when you become stuck, fixated, and focused on wealth, life becomes a churning pot just to earn money, right? And when you earn that money, money comes and money goes, just like that. And that's the mode of passion, the fruit of activities that we do every single day. And I build it the hamster wheel that we live in. We know tomorrow what's to come, right? And that's a part of material nature. So the more we're hankering for enjoyment, the more we are in the mode of passion. And what happens, the more we are in the mode of passion, the more we forget the ultimate knower, the Kshetra Na, the ultimate knower. So eventually, we move away from passion goes to ignorance. Then we finally in the dark. We've forgotten our ultimate position. So we're moving further and further and further away. But the mode of goodness is when we understand our eternal position, where we understand, as Krishna explained in the earlier verses, about devotional service, about knowing and understanding the Vedas, knowing who is the Paramatma within each and every one of us. And when we surrender as such, we move away from the mode of ignorance, we move away from the mode of passion. Yes, we do our work, we go to work, we enjoy, I can't use that word loosely, we don't enjoy, but we use our time in a very valuable way, and ultimately we move to the mode of goodness. It is also said that when one leaves his body in the mode of goodness, he then takes a higher birth amongst different sages and goes to heavenly planets, and that's ultimately what we want. So in chapter 15, we talk about, chapter 14, Krishna explains here that it is very clear that at the moment of death, right, death is in the mode of goodness, one attains higher planets. Death in the mode of ignorance, one attains the animal kingdom. And death in the moment of passion, one attains a life amongst other fruitive acts. Remember, ultimately, we said that our greatest test is the moment of death. So if we are in that mode of passion at death, we're going to take on a life filled with other acts of fruitive activities, working hard, focused on wealth. Right? If we die in the mode of ignorance, darkness, we go to the animal kingdom. If we leave our body, and we use that term, especially devotees in ISKCON, we say somebody left their body. We don't really use the word die. Somebody left their body, because the body is there, but the soul is gone. Right? We see them. So the person that we are mourning and we are grieving, ultimately the body is there. So what has died? The body is no longer conscious. So what is the consciousness? The Kshetrana, the Paramatma, the knower, the Jiva that's within us. And based on that moment, Lord Krishna explains, and Srila Prabhupada describes in the purport, that in these three modes of nature, and it's very interesting, as we go on our days, now that we have unpacked this, or that we've now shared more about this, take notice when you are going about your normal day-to-day activities. Pause. What mode am I in? And that will be such a wake-up call. Because sometimes we get so busy and we do so much that we forget. And then you can actually, it will help so much, because when you are more creating that awareness of your consciousness, you can actually be more present. You can take on that mode of goodness. Your mood can change. Your thoughts would change. Your words would change. If you pause and you are experiencing something difficult, think about Krishna. Step into the mode of goodness, and you see how well you will take on that challenge that's presented to you. So there's so much that we can learn from what Krishna is saying in chapter 14 about our different modes every day. So we need to transcend the mode of ignorance and transcend the mode of passion and attempt to be in the mode of goodness. And the way we can do that is through loving devotional service. Chapter 15, and I love this analogy. Lord Krishna says here about the banyan tree. Can you just imagine a banyan tree in your mind? And I'm going to read the translation of text 1 of chapter 15, and the title of this chapter is The Yoga of the Supreme Person. Translation text 1 by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and those leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas." And the purport just a little bit explains this banyan tree, and I want you to picture this banyan tree in your mind's eye. Picture this banyan tree, and the banyan tree is full of knots, and it's deeply rooted, and it's big, and it has these barks, and it's all entangled. And now listen to what Prabhupada says. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end. And for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. The tree's roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of the universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. So think about this banyan tree. And we are entangled in this knots of this tree. And this tree is this material world. And detachment from this material world is what we need to strive for. And how we can detach is when we are attached to devotional service. So when you detach from something, you attach to something else. You can't detach from something and float around. Then you'll always be yearning for something. So then you move to attachment to devotional service. So this analogy of this banyan tree is very, very important. And we go on, and I'm just going to quickly summarize for you before the Aarti, where Lord Krishna further explains here that the importance of understanding, and I'm going to read the translation of text 15. I am seated in everyone's heart. Again, we're talking about the Supersoul, the Paramatma. And from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. And again, these powerful words. The knower, remember we said the knower of the Kshetrana, the knower of the body, the Paramatma. And if Krishna is seated in our heart, we know that he is the driver of this vehicle. Nothing happens without him. The more we surrender, the more we become closer to him. The more we are closer to him, the further we are away from ignorance and passion. The more we are in the mode of goodness. The more we are in the mode of goodness, the more devotional we become. And then we are able to unpack this knots of the banyan tree that is deeply embedded in material consciousness. So our consciousness is ignited, and we can then eventually attain the mode of goodness. That is an overview. May I ask for any reflections, thoughts, comments? Especially that we are so deep into Gita week. Tomorrow is our last evening of Katha. And then Saturday, we look forward to welcoming the Lord at midnight. And I hope that you will all be here with us. The temple room is always packed for as long as I can remember. For the 40 years that the temple, 39th, this is the 39th Sri Krishna Janmastami at the Sri Sri Radha Radhanath temple. We're very fortunate to have the facility to be here. So let us take advantage of having their Lordship Sri Sri Radha Radhanath here. Let us take advantage of reading the Bhagavad Gita, even if it's one text. And as you see, as we are doing, you can even do it at home. You know, if you just read the translation, read the purport, marry it, you know, and Prabhupada gives us the purport. Imagine if we had just the translation without any context. We'd be lost, right? Imagine if we just had the Sanskrit. We wouldn't even know where to start. So we are eternally indebted to the founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness for giving us the text, the translation, and the purport. So I think we will be getting ready to observe the Gora Aarti in a moment. Any reflections thus far? Yeah, quite into our Gita week. Any personal thoughts? Just think about the banyan tree, and also think about those three modes of material nature as described in chapter 14. And in your day-to-day life, pause and reflect, what mode am I in? Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Their Lordship Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Grace Krsangi Radhe Devi Dasi Ki. So please, we can all stand up and we can sing along for the arti. We're just going to set up, so give us a few moments. Hare Krishna.
Bajayo Jayo Gaura Chande Arati Kashoba Hiba Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Arati Kashoba Jana Vitatavane Jagamana Loba Tatavane Jagamana Loba Tai Chan Bame Gada Gadha Tai Chan Dakinani Tai Chan Bame Gada Dara Tai Chan Bame Gada Dara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Bosi Ache Gorachan Ratna Simasane Bosi Ache Gorachan Ratna Simasane Aroti Korena Brahma Adi Devagane Adi Devagane Narahari Adi Kori Samaradulaya Hari Adi Kori Samaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Sanka Baje Kanta Baje Baje Karatala Baje Kanta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mirdanga Baje Paramarasala Shanka baje, kanta baje, Madhur, Madhur, Madhur baje, Kanta baje, Madhur, Madhur, Madhur. Shanka baje, kanta baje, Madhur, Madhur, Madhur baje. Shanka baje, kanta baje, Madhur, Madhur, Madhur baje. Bahu koti chandrajini, Vadana ujvala, koti chandrajini, Gala deshe banamala, Kore jalamala, deshe banamala, Kore jalamala, Shiva sukana Radha, Preme gada gada, Sukana Radha, Bhakati vinodha deke, Gaurara sampadha, Kati vinodha deke, Sampadha, Gaurange arati kashobha, Jagatana mana lobha, arati kashobha, Jagatana mana lobha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki, Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Yamuna Mai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulasi Devi Ki, Shamaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Namaste Narasingaya. Pralada Lada Daine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaya. Shilatankanakalair. Ito nisringo parato nisringo. Yato yato yamitato nisringo. Bahir nisringo, hridaye nisringo. Nisringamadim sharanam prapadim. Tavakara kamalavade nakam adbhuta shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipur Tanubringam Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara Kamala Hare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Kesavadritam Narahari Rupam Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Nisringadev 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 Jaya Nisringadev. Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki, Sri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining tonight in our program. This is our program coming to an end, and tomorrow is the last night, so please come to the last evening of the Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow we'll have Rukmini Devi Dasi giving the discussion, so please do join. And thank you for all coming tonight. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Gaura Hariya ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.